Hi, everyone. I have a special message for you today. A little bit different than we've been doing so far. And here it is. You ought to be in movies. It's plain enough to see. You ought to be in movies. Oh, what a hit you could be. I haven't done that in years. That was fun, actually. You probably won't believe this, but I actually broke into the business on stage in musicals. And you never know, I guess, what any door you go through is going to offer. The important thing is to go through the door. And that's really what happened to me as far as film is concerned and acting. You can't deny that luck's got a very big part to play, but an equally big part, and in fact, I think I might even say a larger part, is the role that luck plays. And in my case, it was a lot of luck. So what I want to do, if I can, today is kind of share that story with you. And at the end of this, I'm going to share a very poor video of, I guess, the stage play that gave me my start, really, because it was because of this particular stage play, Guys and Dolls, where I was playing Nicely Johnson, that I would say offered me the opportunity to find an agent, and of course, here we are today. I'd want to say to you that, again, this is a collaborative effort, and I can tell you that that play that we did, that musical that we did, Guys and Dolls, was directed by Roland Kerouac, and with his lovely wife assistant, Sandra. And of course, the great gang of amateurs, including me, up in Orangeville, Ontario. I felt very much like it was a Judy Garland and Mickey Rooney moment when the movie goes to climax, and then the answer, of course, is, let's put on a stage play. And it's always a musical with Judy Garland or Mickey Rooney. Anyway, having said that, what made it special is not that it was a regular version of Guys and Dolls. In fact, Roland had a brilliant idea, and he decided to take the song "Sit Down, You're Rocking the Boat," started as you would normally start it, and then he decided to turn it into a gospel revival, and it turned out, when you consider all of us are amateurs in this, it turned out, in my opinion, pretty friggin' good, and I am really happy with it. I can look back and say I'm as happy with that as anything I've ever done. And again, I thank Roland and Sandra dearly, and of course, obviously, as I mentioned, the Orangeville Music Theater people. So let me tell you how this all started. And I think you'll find it pretty interesting. Anyway, so my partner and I had moved out of the city of Toronto, and we moved north of the city, about 100 kilometers north, up on what's called the Niagara Escarpment. And it was a pretty isolated area, to say the least. No development was allowed on the escarpment, so any houses that were there, that was it. You're not going to see any more. When I say isolated, I really mean that, because it was 12 kilometers each way just to get a loaf of bread. And we were on an unassumed road, which meant it wasn't like a city street in any way. It was a road that the municipality didn't even plow in the winter, although they would be nice enough to come in and grade the gravel in the summer, right? But that's about the extent of it. Now, sure, the taxes are low, and it was a great little bungalow on a beautiful big pond, spring water fed with trout and otters and beavers and everything. It was gorgeous. But boy, when you're stuck up there in the winter, and looking for things to do, you're hard pressed to make the days interesting. In the summer, it's no problem because everybody and their brother wants to come up and join you and have a wonderful day swimming or boating or canoeing or paddle boating or whatever it may be, or just getting some sun, campfires. God, the many times that we laid out in the backyard and watched the satellites go by and counted them. One night I think I counted 14. And of course, those campfires were, what did we tell? Great story, a great storytelling platform for not only stories but great jokes. It was just, when I look back on it, it was great. But boy, isolated to say the least. So I got itchy this one winter. I think it was in 1997. I'm pretty sure it was. And so here's what happened. There was a local newspaper, and I just happened to be reading it, and there was this little ad in the newspaper. Now, they had just renovated the town hall, the old town hall, to bring it back to its old grandeur in Orangeville. And it was a pretty big theater, actually, where all the residents in the town could come in and sit down and hear people make speeches about this and that. But they renovated it to its old style, and there were a lot of shows, entertainment and whatnot, that went on in this theater historically. So they wanted to get a little of that back. So I believe the town itself, or the people, maybe the artistic director of the theater, decided that what he thought he might do was just maybe put on a couple of get-togethers and talk about the theater of the past. Talk about, how this grew into the community center it did, and some of the acts that maybe were put on there, in the 30s, the 40s, things like that. So I thought, hey, what the hell? I've got nothing better to do. So I called the number. There was a number there that they wanted to know people who were coming down. And I said, listen, I'd like to be there on Tuesday night to be in the audience for this, I guess, talk on the history of theater in Orangeville. Anyway, they said, okay, well, it's not going to be in the theater, which disappointed me right from the start. It's going to be the bottom of, I forget the name of the church, but it was going to be in the basement of the church. I guess they didn't expect that too many people to come, but hey, I wasn't going to not go because I thought, what the hell, I've got nothing else to do. So here I go, trouncing down to this church on a Tuesday night. It was 7 o'clock, and I decided to get there fashionably late, right? So I pulled in about 7:15, and I went in the front doors and walked down the stairs to the side, and I heard the singing, and I thought, ooh, this is getting interesting. Maybe there's a couple of songs we can sing and whatnot, because I used to sing in the shower a lot, right? Okay, so I walk down the stairs, and I peek around the corner, and I see all these people sitting on the floor. And as I got a little closer, I noticed that the majority of them were pretty young. Some of them in their maybe late teens or early 20s, but there were a few older men and women there too. They weren't sitting on the floor, they were sitting on the chairs around the circle. And I sort of walked in carefully, and a lady looked up who was at the piano, and she pointed to me and said, oh, geez, stay there, So I said, okay. And she walked over to me, and she said, are you Brian? Yes, I'm Brian. And she said, well, come on with me. Get away from this. Come on with me. And she took me into another room. And I said, oh, I said, I'm here for the theater thing. And she said, yes, we know. She says, well, tell me, Brian, can you sing? And I thought, well, why is she asking me that? So, yeah. Okay, I can sing. I mean, in the shower, I can sing. Right? She says, well, do you know the song T for Two? And I think I do. T for two and two. She said, well, will you sing it for me? So she gets on the piano, and away she goes. And it's T for two and two for T. It's me for you and you for me. And I'm rather enjoying myself, right? I'm singing along. She says, oh, that's good. She said, now, can you dance? Well, I thought, this is getting really weird. So I said, yeah, like, what do you mean? Like, waltz around? Or, you know, and I knew she didn't mean at those days, forgive me, disco. Those are my formative years, actually. Early to mid 70s. Some of the best songs ever written, Hot Chocolate and Shame, Shame, Shame by Shirley and Company. Oh, that's another story. Anyways, I said, yeah, I think I can dance a bit. And I thought she wanted to waltz. So I waltzed around the room to T for two. And here I am. Da, 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 da. I'm saying, this is kind of fun, but what the hell is it all about? So she said, oh, just wait here, will you please? Okay. So I sat and I waited. I must have waited for maybe 5 minutes, and I thought, oh, shit, I'm not waiting anymore. I'm going to go. And quite literally, as I got up to leave, boom, the doors fly open to this room, double doors. And I, little jolted, and all these people file in, you know, in a big crowd, and they've all got song sheets. And a lady other than Joy, I'll say her name, Joy Bell, beautiful woman. Oh my God. Turns out she was a star to me, quite frankly. Anyways, so I thought, there's something going on here that I really don't know what's going on. So anyway, this lady said everybody have their song sheets, and Joy Bell goes up to Bonnie Monahan, who was the director, going to be the director. Of course, I didn't know that at this point in time, but she stands up on a chair and she says, "Oh, everyone, I want you to, I want you to welcome our new singer, Brian." Everybody turns, goes, "Yay!" And I'm going, okay. I'm looking around. I'm saying, me? You know, okay, what do you mean, new singer? You know, I'm thinking all these things, but I'm polite. You know, I'm Canadian polite, right? And so okay, nice, yes, okay. I got to figure this out. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is weird. This is not what I expected. And she says, come on, Brian, come up. Here's your song sheet. And so we started singing a few songs, and they turned out to be some songs I think I was a little familiar with, maybe from my mom's day, back in the 30s or 40s or 50s. Anyways, the point is that we're singing along, and, you know, I started to kind of enjoy myself, and I thought, well, maybe this is a choir that's part of this event or something. Anyway, after we finished, you know, everybody said, okay, till Thursday night. And then people started to file out, and they say, hey, Brian, good to have you aboard, And I waited till almost everybody left, and I went up to Joy, and I think Bonnie together, if I'm not mistaken, and I said, can you tell me what the hell's going on here? And they looked at me puzzled, and they said, well, you just auditioned for a role in the stage play of No, No, Nanette. And I, of course, what? You mean like a play that's going to be performed on a stage? And she says, yes, that's what you came down for. I said, no, I didn't come down for that. I came down to hear the history of Orangeville Music Theater going back to the 30s till now. And I say this was in 50, oh my God. This was in 1997. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. So anyway, I said, no. And then it suddenly dawned on them, oh my God, Brian, you must have been looking at last week's paper and not this week's paper. I said, I don't know which one I'm looking at, but it definitely said History of Orangeville Music Theater from the 30s till today. And they said, Brian, that was a talk that was put on in the theater last week. We used the same number that we advertised in this week's paper for those who want to audition for No, No, Nanette by the Orangeville Music Theater. So I said, sorry, I'm not your guy, but thanks so much. So I left. And when I got home, God, I said to Jeff, my partner. I said, Jesus, I just did the stupidest thing I think I've ever done. I said, I made a complete ass of myself tonight. Didn't know it, but I went down, blah, 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 ended up auditioning, blah, 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 and I got the part. And I'm not going. There's no way they're going to get me on the stage, so I told him I wasn't going to go. Jeff says, why not? No, not you too. Forget it. No. And that's where I left it until Bonnie started calling, and Joy Bell started calling. And it was like, Brian, couldn't you find a way to do it? I mean, you've got a strong voice, and we need, good singers in the chorus. And so it's a chorus role, It's not a lead or anything. It's just a chorus role. So I said, no, you're not going to get me on stage. No. And finally, the last call came. And Jeff was lecturing me every 5 minutes. Do it. Christ, you're a natural for it. You'll have a ball. That's all. Nobody's going to see it. He says, Christ, it's Orangeville. Who the hell's going to go up and see you make a fool of yourself on stage in Orangeville? And I know you, he says, and you will make a fool of yourself. Oh, he does know me for sure. I mean, after 35 years, he knows me. Anyways, having said that, I got the last call or the next call, and I said to Bonnie, okay, listen, just please tell me, why me? Why me? Is it because I'm a good dancer, or is it because I'm a good singer? And Bonnie just on the phone, there was this little bit of a pause, and she said, no, we want you, but the reason you got it is we desperately need men. So I got my first role in musical theater from their desperation, because nobody else would audition for the part. So I thought, oh my God, how can you not reward that candor? So I said, okay. And I thought, this will be over quickly. No big deal. Well, that's not what happened. I can tell you that no sooner did I start this, I started to have reservations about it, every Tuesday and Thursday night for, 10 weeks or something, or 8 weeks. I don't know what it was. And Sundays as well. And but I thought, well, I'll give it a try. And then Jeff happened to tell me one day, this is after I committed, he said, oh, by the way, I've told all of our friends, and I've told my parents and family, and I told your mom and your sister, and they're all going. Well, I'll tell you, talk about panic. Oh my God, I panicked like there was no tomorrow. I spent hours at home on my own, not only Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. I spent hours working on this stuff, making sure I knew my lines, well, I didn't have any lines. What am I talking about? Making sure I knew my songs. This was chorus, right? But chorus members had to dance. So I'm tapping up and down the parquet floor hallway in our home up there going, tip-tap, clip-clap. We've got some film of that which I will not share with you. You can see the desperation written across my face as I tippy-tap, tippy-tap, tippy-tap back and forth in front of the cameras with my dogs and 3 cats sitting there watching me like, oh my God, who the hell is this fool? So, well, the night came, and I said, I got to go through this. And of course, before I went in, and all my family, everybody I knew, friends, business associates, Christ, I had, 20 people at least in that that came eventually to see it. Not everyone opening night, but through the, 14 or 15 shows, something like that. Anyway, opening night, there were about maybe 8. I think it was restricted for everybody, because everybody wants to go for its really close family. But anyway, so here it was, opening night, and I'm in the back. and I'm peeking through the curtains. Oh, crikey. And there they are, right in the center, 4 rows back. And I just said, oh, I can't look at them. And I started getting nauseous, and I started getting sweat fits. And I'm thinking, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. Oh, my God. I can't make a fool of myself. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And then the music comes up, and I take a deep breath, and I go out on that stage, and I'm dancing along, and I'm looking up at the ceiling because I don't want to see anybody, and I'm going the other way, and I'm singing, and all of a sudden, it kicked in. It was like, whoa, it kicked in, and it's like, whoa, whoa, and I'm looking out over the audience, and I'm going, holy Christ, this is incredible. I was hooked in 5 minutes. And when I had to leave the stage from the first opening scene, I couldn't wait to get back in there. And you know something? One of the most sorrowful days I had with that first stage play was closing night. What an emotional letdown. So I thought, boy, I've got to tell everybody I know, if they can in any way just participate in any kind of a community theater or any kind of an acting opportunity, just find your way and do it. You won't get paid. In fact, it may even cost you money as it did me. So I can't tell you how much joy it's really brought into my life. And again, I want to thank Roland and Sandra Kerouac for the work they did with me in the next production I did, which Roland cast me in as the lead, bless his heart, and that was Guys and Dolls. So I decided, and I'm going to do this, I decided that I was going to share with you an old tape that was taken from the front row of opening night of Guys and Dolls. Now, it says May 1998 on it, so it's amateur stuff. It's a handheld camera, and back then it was a handheld video camera, not digital. So it's full of flaws and whatnot, but I wanted you to see, this is not for my purposes, but I want you to see all the people that were involved in this and the fun that they had. You know, just look at their faces. It's incredible, right? And the thing that strikes you most about this, if any of you've seen Guys and Dolls, the artistic quality is impeccable. Roland's interpretation of "sit down, you're rocking the boat" is with this gospel part to it, or theme to it, toward halfway through it, is brilliant. I think it's brilliant, and the whole cast is infected by it. You can see it, and I think that's what the message is in this. You get the chance, go through the door, and you may find a spark that will affect you and drive you for the rest of your life. Okay, so I'm going to call it a day tonight. The link to this Guys and Dolls is, I believe, and hope below this link, you'll see. So take a look at it, and you're going to laugh, but you're also going to enjoy yourself. In fact, some of you might even cry. You've never seen 35 people enjoy themselves, I don't think, showing off their best and putting on their best strut, okay? So enjoy.